Previously on the Ron Van Dam Show.
Boy, do I love to watch my gums bleed. Nah, put that on your recording, Amy.
And now, today's episode.
On the air everywhere, this is New England Broadcasting.
Here we go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Yes, it is.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
What a pleasure this is for me. I can't tell you what a wonderful experience this shall be for the both of us today. We have a great guest coming up later in the program that will definitely change your life. Definitely, probably, maybe not so much. Today's show is free. You don't have to pay for this particular episode. Oh, God. We have a sweepstakes coming up. The winner of the drawing will actually get a free illegal massage from Betty. I don't know who Betty is, but I can't wait to meet her. For the longest time, I had never really gotten a massage before until about maybe 10 years ago. And I went to this place that did massages. And I walked in, and there was this quite attractive lady standing there. And she asked me to take all my clothes off. And I started to, and she says, no, not now. She's like, in that room there, take your clothes off, and then lie on the bed face down, and I will begin the massage. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is this real? Is it just a massage or something else going to happen? Because I watch this in the movies, you know, and I read in the papers that a lot of these massages turn into something other than what you think it is. And I wondered, is this one of them? So I took all my clothes off and I laid face down. I put my head in this little cushioned hole, which it feels like I've been spending most of my life in. And she comes walking in, and I'm face down, so I can't see her. I assume she's still dressed. I don't know. And she proceeds to give me a massage, which feels rather good, rather enticing at times, rather painful at others. And then when she was finished, she said, okay, you can, after I leave the room, you can get dressed. And I felt like saying, that's all? What about in the movies where you do the thing? I didn't say that. That's what I thought. From that point on, I had like an inferiority complex for a while, figuring, well, maybe they really do that in massage parlors, but they didn't think I was good enough for that. You know, like, I'm not going to offer this guy. I don't want to deal with that crap. He ain't worth it. I decided there's an inferiority complex that was generated anyway. How you doing? Good to be with you. This is the Ron Van Dam Show. We talk about things that most people on other radio shows don't really talk about. Because it's not interesting if you don't talk about things that go on in your head. We do this all day. We go through lives and we think about things in our head and we never say them. We never pursue them. We never talk about them. We never even say them out loud. Here, that happens all the time. So don't be like, you know, shocked or anything like that. That's not a horrible kind of thing, but I don't know what's going to happen. When I start the show, I really don't know what I'm going to be talking about. It's probably evident. No kidding, Ron. It's quite obvious you don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's quite obvious you don't plan anything. Yeah, well, then if I planned it, it wouldn't be fun. Anyway, welcome to the show. Got a great guest coming up. He's a doctor, and we're going to talk about my favorite subject, and that is making me feel bad about myself because I eat too much and I'm a fat pig. I've been through this before, and 3/4 of my audience is probably concerned about their weight because we just got through the holidays. We shoved all kinds of things in our mouth. Pies and cakes and turkeys and food and just all kinds of stuff, wine and chocolates and sweets and pastas and may I go on. And that was just yesterday. I've gotten on the scale and not good. Now it's tough to shed the pounds. It's easy to put them on. Putting pounds on is like a fiesta. It's fantastic. Taking them off is, impossible. I'm not fitting into my clothes. I felt like buying a new washing machine because I thought it was shrinking all my clothes. No, they're not shrinking. I'm getting bigger. Still trying to blame it on the washing machine. Still trying to price out new washing machines that don't shrink your clothes, but they're not shrinking. By the way, I found something that was shocking yesterday. I did my laundry. I put the stuff in the washer and the dryer. I have a problem with socks. I lose them. Socks, for some reason, as soon as they're able to, they escape my home. I've talked about this before. I don't know where socks go. I went online yesterday on the International Highway of Information, the Google machine, and I typed in, what happens to all the lost socks? And it responded by saying, it's not the socks, it's you. I said, what the hell does that mean? You know, sometimes when you get a bad answer that you don't like out of Google, I go to Firefox, figuring, well, they give me a different answer, everything will be cool. My socks apparently did not want to be on my feet anymore. And they're jumping, but they do it like one sock at a time. It's never the whole pair. Socks don't run away matched up. They individually go somewhere. Well, yesterday I did my laundry, and then I went out for dinner, and I went into a restaurant, and I'm sitting there, and I'm about to order, and I look over 2 tables over, and guess who's sitting at the table? 6 pairs of my socks. Yeah, they're out having a good time. I walked over to the table, and I said, what the hell are you doing here in the restaurant? And my socks looked up very embarrassed. That little toe part of the sock kind of cocked over to the left a little bit like, uh-oh, we've been caught. I said, you bastards, get out of the restaurant, get in my car, I'm taking you home back to my sock drawer. Wow, the nerve of those little bastards. Anyway, I was talking about losing weight, so this doctor will be with us later in the program. He's written a very interesting book, and the title of the book is exactly what I want to hear about. What to eat when. What should I be putting in my mouth food-wise? And when should I be putting it there? When you eat is apparently very consequential as to how you digest your food, how you burn the calories, and if you can lose weight simply by when you eat. Not so much how much. So I felt like this was an interesting thing. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. After all these years on this planet, guy writes a book, I find out I've been eating wrong. Why didn't you tell me earlier? What are you waiting for now? Toward the end of my excursion here. All of a sudden, you see, Ron, all those decades and decades of you eating food, you've been doing it all wrong. Oh, thanks for the clue, Sherlock. I've been doing it wrong. How dare you? Now I'm mad at my parents. They didn't teach me how to eat right. Ron, you've been eating all wrong. You don't put the food in your mouth. You put it in your pants. You're so stupid. You don't even know what you're doing with your food. You're so stupid. I have a friend who's really into astrology. She loves astrology. And this isn't looking at the stars through a telescope. I'm talking about this Capricorn, Scorpio, Cancer stuff. By the way, why would they name a sign after a horrible disease? What if you were born in a certain month and they said, "Oh, you're Cancer"? I do? I need to see a doctor. No. You are a Cancer to people. I'm a Cancer to people? That's a horrible thing to say to me. No, that's not. Forget the Cancer thing. Well, then why are they calling it that? I'm a Scorpio. Apparently, I'm sex-driven. Who isn't? Apparently, I'm very sensitive, which I really am. But I'm very sexual. I'm very sex-driven. Well, thank you very much. It's better than being a Cancer to people. I don't believe in that stuff. How can an entire month of people have all the same attributes? She's a Gemini. I'm not talking to her. Why not? Dual personalities, say one thing out of one side of their mouth, say something out of the other side of their mouth. They can't be trusted. They're dual personalities. Everybody born in that month period of time has the same attributes? If that were the case, I think we'd be all screwed up even more than we are. I know some couples, I've heard about them, I don't know them, that was a lie. I've heard about some couples that when they get down to making babies, they make sure that they time it so that they're not born under certain signs. Look, stop it. Just stop it. That's just so ridiculous. I mean, I don't believe in astrology. I really, really don't. And there's some people that read the horoscope every single day to find out what's going to happen to them. Or they read it at the end of the day and they try to associate the accuracy of the horoscope, and it's always accurate because something happened during the day that somehow relates to one or two words in that horoscope, and all of a sudden that horoscope is amazingly accurate. No, it's not. Two words matched up. Most of the horoscope was totally wrong, but you don't pay attention to that part. You're going to meet the person of your dreams today. I didn't meet the person of my dreams today. And you're also going to have lunch. You're right, I did have lunch. This horoscope is amazing. These are like Trump supporters, like you believe anything. You believe what you want to hear, and the rest of the total amount of crap you dismiss. It's just, I don't understand. I don't know, is it a cry for help or something? What is the deal there? I wonder what my horoscope says today.
Greetings, fellow planet travelers. Kip Starchild here with your horoscope scape for the month. Let's see what the stars have in store for you. Aquarius, there are just 2 words for your month ahead: regrettable tattoos. Pisces, remember that when one door closes, another one opens. Usually. You probably shouldn't stand around waiting. You could try knocking politely, but yeah. Aries, no one wants to get hit by falling space junk, but you should probably get used to the idea. Taurus, new friends and a new outlook on life are coming your way, thanks to a blow to the skull and subsequent amnesia. Gemini, get out of that bad relationship you're in, because the bad part? Yeah, that would be you. Cancer, keep in mind that naked midnight spearfishing during a thunderstorm only sounds like a good idea when you're really drunk and should probably be taken home instead. Leo, here are your 2 words for the month: lengthy trial. Oh, and 2 more: concurrent sentences. Virgo, just when it looks like things are about as bad as it gets, get ready to discover that you are wrong. Libra, a modeling opportunity is coming your way this month. Looks like you'll be the before picture for either weight loss or hair restoration, or toe fungus removal. Possibly all three. Scorpio, change your travel plans soon. The stars are a little clear on exactly why, but apparently everyone in Taiwan hates you. Sagittarius, you're going viral this month, but a hearty dose of antibiotics should clear that right up in no time. Capricorn, you will soon hear from an old flame. Considering your track record, it will probably be about bail money or muling one more load of coke over the border, but just see where that goes. Why not? That's your horoscope scape for the month. I'm Kip Starchild. Until next time, peace.
Wow, that's frightfully accurate. Does it concern you that the people who wrote the Bible way back when also thought that the earth was flat? Does it concern you at all in accuracy? Does it concern you that the people that wrote the Bible with all these rather dramatic stories actually thought that in the sky the stars linked up to make illustrations of animals and fictitious people? Does that concern you at all? Did you ever think that the people that wrote the Bible thought that the stars in the sky were actually some type of sign, and that when the stars moved, that was definitely a clue to something celestial happening? They didn't know what meteors were. That's all they were. Does it concern you at all? Does it concern you that when it rained a lot, their reaction was not to get an umbrella, it was to build an ark? Does that concern you at all? No, apparently not. Hey, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Does it concern you? Does it concern you at all? Does it concern you that the President of the United States is a liar and a mental problem? Does it concern you at all? I had to laugh today, even though it's incredibly not funny, that Trump and his people in the White House are actually saying that government employees who are working but not being paid, some of them having to work other jobs, most of them considering leaving the government because this isn't working out. I don't trust them in the future to pay me. Trump actually says, well, all these people who are struggling from paycheck to paycheck, can't pay the mortgage, just go to the bank, tell them the situation, and the bank will say, yeah, you don't have to pay us right now. Is that true, Don? You talk to all the banks? Is that what they do? No, billionaires can do that because they have assets behind them. Do you understand that, Don? Man, this guy's got no feelings whatsoever. Void of feelings. Does that concern you at all? Donald never really had to take a loan out for anything. All the money was given to him. I talked about this yesterday. This guy, he's got no feelings, man. He would leave you high and dry in the desert. And I'm talking to the people that voted for him. He would leave you high and dry. Does that concern you at all? Oh, okay. All right, fine. Very shortly, we're going to be speaking to the doctor. I like speaking to doctors on this program because I don't have to see them. They don't have to look at me. They assume that I'm a svelte, thin, well taken care of, exercise buff. I'm not going to ruin that fantasy for them. Only the opposite is true. I'm tall. I'm not extremely thin at all. I'm not fat, but I'm not thin. No, I don't go to the gym, ever. Oh, I have been to the gym a number of times to sign up, but I've never gave them any money. I don't go to the gym. I'm intimidated by people that do, because I don't have the discipline. When someone says to me, I'm going to the gym today, I'm going to be working on my abs, my response is, you working on any part of your body is opposite of me. I use my legs to get from the bed to the bathroom, to get from the refrigerator to the couch, to get from the house to the car. That's when I use my legs. That's my workout. My arms are used when I lift up my cocktail to my mouth. That's my workout. Sometimes, because I am right-handed, I realize my left hand isn't really doing anything. I will lift the cocktail glass with my right hand or my left hand in order to switch it up just a bit. I do exercise the top of my body, my head, and my neck with a chewing motion. I put food in my mouth and I chew. When I'm chewing, I'm actually working the jaw.
You are listening to Ron Van Dam, the gentle, fast-acting laxative of the podcast world. Don't you feel better already?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Dr. Michael Crupain joins us now. And we've got what to eat when. Those are some questions that I've been asking since I was born, pretty much. That's a difficult one. You understand? I understand. You love to cook. You're like a chef.
Well, cooking is one of my passions. Yeah, so I'm a physician, but I've always loved to cook in medical school. Before I used to work in some restaurants for fun.
If cooking is your passion, you are a chef. That's the way I look at it. All right. Yeah, it's the new year and all that stuff and the resolutions and all that, but that makes no difference to me. Every day is a kind of an internal struggle for many people, especially those over a certain age where you just gain weight every year just for the hell of it, and you can do absolutely nothing differently and you're still going to gain. So we're all concerned about that, and then we're concerned about our health. We're living longer, and we want to make sure that those years are healthy ones and not painful ones. So we're always looking for a plan of action on how to eat well, what choices to make.
Yeah, so we wrote this book to help people, like everyone who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And most people focus on what they eat, but we thought it was important to start thinking about when we eat.
Interesting.
So not just what, but also the when. And it all has to do with our circadian rhythm, and that's sort of our body's internal clock. And the job of your circadian rhythm is to get your body to do the right thing at the right time. Then we actually have to do that. But what our body does is it expects us to do certain things at certain times. So we all kind of know our circadian rhythm is important for sleep. Like if if we travel to another time zone, we get jet lagged because we're throwing off our body's clock. Well, it turns out our circadian rhythm regulates just about everything, and including our metabolism. So our metabolism actually changes throughout the day. So it actually expects us to eat early in the day. So when the sun is shining, our circadian rhythm is set by the sun.
Right.
And if you think back to ancient times, we had the sun and we didn't have electricity or anything, so we kind of had to live by it.
Right.
So we evolved that way so that our body expects us to eat more early and less later. So that's sort of the big picture. What we recommend is you eat with the sun, and you make breakfast and lunch your largest meals and dinner your smallest. So we say basically Americans have to flip their day upside down because most of us eat most of our calories at night.
True. That's very true. And is that because we have no chance to burn them? In other words, if you eat and then you shortly after go to sleep, then there's not that much burning going on? Is that the theory?
Well, you're still burning calories at night. You're burning a little bit less. There's a recent study that showed that people, our basic metabolic rate, so are sort of without any activity, how many calories we burn, it's about 10% less at night. So it's different, but it's not like it disappears at night.
All right.
But throughout the day, our metabolism does change. So there's an amazing study that was done here in the U.S. where they had people on a diet, and they had them on a low-calorie diet.
Yes.
It was about 1,400 calories.
Yes.
So, and they divided people into two groups. So both groups got lunch of 500 calories, but the one group got a 700-calorie breakfast and a 200-calorie dinner,
Yes.
and the other group got the opposite, a 200-calorie breakfast and a 700-calorie dinner.
Okay.
And they found, even though both groups ate the exact same calories, but they ate them at different times,
Yes.
the group that ate the big breakfast lost a lot more weight than the group that ate the big dinner. So that's
Okay.
because, again, our metabolism is changing. And in the morning, it's more interested in burning carbohydrates, and at night, it's more interested in burning fat. And because fat is sort of the storage form, like a long-term storage form of energy, and so since we're supposed to be not eating at night,
Yes.
that's what you would want to burn. You'd want to burn that fat.
Right.
But when you start eating at night, you kind of throw a wrench in this whole system, and you eat to storing fat instead of burning it.
All right. But what about our hunger here? Because sometimes I'm not hungry at all, and I figure, well, I won't eat if I'm not hungry, but I'm not eating when I'm supposed to eat because I'm not burning anything. But then when I do eat, I eat voraciously, and then it's like my body's saying, I can't burn all this stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's what I was really concerned when we got really into the research of this and seeing that this is the way people should eat. Mike Royce, my co-author, and I were both concerned about this. We thought, well, people are going to be hungry. And I personally have always, until now, I spent my life eating dinner as my biggest meal. In fact, I started off training to be a neurosurgeon, and that lifestyle and training led me to kind of eat all my meals at night. So I only ate once a day, really, because I didn't have time to eat the rest of the day.
Good for you.
So I would come home and I'd be starving, and I would eat a lot. And I was never that hungry in the morning.
Right.
And that worked for me for a long time. But like you said, like most people, I was starting to gain a little weight. And then I tried this. I switched my day. I flipped it upside down. Now I eat breakfast and lunch, and I either don't eat dinner or it's a very small meal because my appetite actually changed. And, and the literature actually suggests this is what happens. When you start eating your larger meals early, you aren't as hungry at night. So it's one of the most surprising things, I think, for people is this actually changes your appetite.
What about water? I'm always told to drink 25 gallons of water and to spend all day peeing, which is pretty much what happens. That it cuts down on my appetite if I drink water. But then now I'm finding I'm peeing all the time and I'm bloated. So I don't understand.
Well, 25 gallons might be a little much.
All right. I think I was exaggerating.
I know. But, I mean, water is important. You know, it's important that we stay hydrated, and sometimes we do, if we're not drinking enough, it sort of does affect our hunger. So that's actually one of the things that I actually personally do. If I'm starting to feel a little bit hungry, sometimes I'll have a glass of water, and I won't be hungry anymore. So I think it's important. I mean, you don't want to spend all day in the bathroom, but it's good. It's good for your kidneys too to be using the bathroom throughout the day.
All right, and the big question everybody probably asks you is, okay, I feel a little bit peckish. It's nighttime. I'm not going to be moving around much. What can I eat? What can I not eat? Should I stop myself from eating? Say it's like 8 o'clock at night. You go to bed at 9, and you just want something.
Yeah, so I think eating at night is basically the worst time to eat.
Yeah.
But if you absolutely have to, I would say try drinking some water first. Again, if you're doing this the way we're suggesting, you're probably not going to be that hungry. Or you can think about if maybe you want to stop eating, a good 3 to 4 hours or more before you go to bed.
That's a lot.
So so but if you're starting loading your calories early, then you won't be that hungry. But if you absolutely are, if you're famished and you have to eat something, then you got to do what you got to do. So I would recommend some crunchy vegetables, or we like roasted chickpeas. Something that has a lot of fiber and a lot of crunch, so it's satisfying and filling. And then and then you'll. What I like to say is with this, because your circadian rhythm is set by the sun, every day you have a chance to start again and get better. So if you eat at night and it's not the end of the world, just try again the next day.
Yeah, because see, people I think tend to get fat in the winter because they're not moving around as much, and yet it gets dark early, especially in the east. So it's kind of a conundrum. And, I mean, I don't know if you're a psychologist or not. It may play into this, but very quickly, some people eat just to occupy themselves, especially when they're watching television, no matter what time of day it is. They can't idly just sit there.
Yeah, no, I think, well, you've raised a lot of good points. So in the winter, it is, we aren't moving around as much, and also the sun is setting earlier, so our metabolism is probably, is changing, right? We're more into a storing mode in the winter. So it's better to eat even earlier in the winter, again, eating with the sun. One of the things about the psychology of eating the way we're recommending, by making your meals earlier, is you have to actually think about it a little bit. So we say to eat your dinner for breakfast, so I'll make dinner, and if I'm really hungry, I'll eat a little bit, and I'll save the rest for the next day.
I get it.
Especially, like, I love pasta. We're not anti-carbohydrates or anything, so I like to make pasta at night, and then I'll eat it the next day for breakfast or for lunch. And there's an extra benefit to that, because when pasta or potatoes, starchy things cool, some of that starch, which is sugar, it turns into something called resistant starch, which is more like a fiber than like a sugar, so it actually is better for you.
All right.
So a little hack there.
That's cool. Okay.
When you're doing this, when you have to think about this a little bit more than you might be used to, you start planning a little bit, and then you realize, then you maybe don't eat when you're not supposed to, because you've actually put a little bit of thought into it.
Well, we could. I could talk to you for hours, because there's a lot here, but this is a book I definitely want to read. It's What to Eat When. Makes all the sense in the world, and it could actually change your whole life and your lifestyle. So, Dr. Crupain, thank you so much for your time today. Is there a website? Is there a website we can visit very quickly?
Yeah, our website is wenway.com.
Great. Thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. And there, my little bundle of Knish, is your show for today. I have a feeling that this has been very educational for you. It has been for me. I'm just trying to figure out how. But somewhere in there was something educational. Probably. I know when to eat. That's the problem. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day, and as always, I wish you peace.